We fought as warriors. You stood for your city. Now the sword is lowered and Rome chooses order. You stood for your city. Now the sword is lowered and Rome...
Beneath a sky-stained red like an Italian sunset, the smoke of battle still lingered over the fields where Rome had just defeated the Etruscan forces. The clash of metal had faded, yet its echoes seemed to vibrate in the air. The legions stood in perfect formation, shields upright, helmets reflecting the last light of day. Upon the walls that once symbolized Etruscan pride, the Roman eagle banner had been raised, snapping in the wind like a silent declaration. A new era had begun. The fallen city lay in heavy silence. Citizens stood behind wooden doors, peering through narrow cracks with a mixture of fear and curiosity at the disciplined army marching through their streets. There was no reckless slaughter, for the Roman commanders understood that lasting rule required order, not destruction. The squares were secured, granaries sealed, and guards stationed at the gates and armories. Yet not everyone accepted the change. Under the cover of darkness on the first night after the victory, a group of Etruscan warriors loyal to their former leaders slipped out of the city. They carried short swords, spears, and resentment that had not yet cooled. In the depths of the forest, they swore never to kneel before Roman law. News of their resistance quickly reached the magistrates. Meetings were held beneath torchlight in the great stone hall. The commanders understood clearly. If the seeds of rebellion were allowed to grow, today's victory would become tomorrow's instability. Thus, search and capture units were organized. Divided into smaller detachments, they advanced into the dense forest surrounding the city.
Not rebellion yet, but intention.
Governor, report. There was a gathering beneath the old quarter.
How many?
Small. Organized. Not yet open defiance.
The woods of Etruria were not easily conquered.
Patience can be misread.
Rugged terrain,
so can kindness.
tangled paths, and morning fog obscured visibility. But the strength of Rome lay not only in force, but in discipline and strategy. Step by step, they established a tightening perimeter, cutting off supply lines and sealing exits to the valleys. After several days of pursuit, the rebels were cornered in a narrow mountain pass. The final clash was brief but fierce. Battle cries echoed against the stone cliffs. When the dust settled, the insurgents had been subdued. Their weapons were stripped away, their hands bound with coarse rope, and they were marched back to the city under heavy guard. The trial was set in the central square. The citizens were summoned to witness it, for Rome wanted all to understand that law stood above all. The captured men were lined up before the stone steps where the king and officials sat. No forest shielded them now. They faced their fate beneath the eyes of the entire city. The herald proclaimed their charges aloud. Defiance of established authority, incitement of rebellion, threats to public security. The proceedings were solemn. Some were sentenced to exile, others to forced labor to repay their crimes. The punishments were meant not only to discipline, but to deter. When it was done, the king stepped forward. Raising his right hand, his voice carried across the square. He declared that from this day on, the city officially stood under Roman control. Roman law would govern it, taxes would be instituted, and garrisons would remain to preserve order. Those who were loyal would receive protection and peace.
No.
Those who rebelled would face justice.
That was their mistake.
Rebel group has been captured. All of them. Yes, Your Majesty. They are imprisoned within the lower fortress.
Bring them before the people. The rebels are captured. Make an example. Public crucifixion. Rebellion does not die with blood. It dies with fear. Prepare them.
At that moment, bronze trumpets sounded long and clear. The banner of victory was lifted high upon the city walls. Soldiers struck sword against shield in a thunderous rhythm. The citizens, after days of fear, began to exhale as they realized the city had not been destroyed, but reorganized. That evening, torches were lit throughout the square. A celebration of victory was held. Wine filled great jugs. Bread and roasted meat were shared among soldiers and townspeople alike. Priests offered sacrifices to the gods in gratitude for triumph and in hope of lasting peace. Music, conversation, and even laughter gradually replaced the earlier tension. Yet beneath the flickering torchlight, everyone understood that history never stands still. This city was but another step in Rome's expanding path of power. From the stone roads that would soon be laid to the laws that would take root, a new order was forming. And as so often happens, the story of this battle would be told from the victor's perspective. The Roman eagle had spread its wings over
The border tribes are restless again.
They test our response.
Not a full rebellion. Not yet. Then we strike first.